And we also got some word from France 24's Gulliver Cragg with a bit of a personal anecdote from the Ukrainian capital.
I was actually out of town overnight, but got calls at 5 in the morning from friends worried about what state the building I live in was in. It turns out there's only light damage to my building, but very regular viewers may recognise the area of Kyiv that I'm in. I'm very near to my home here. This is the first time that this area of Kyiv has been hit so hard. The main strike was a missile that hit the building behind me. What you see there is the Chernobyl Museum that Volodymyr Zelensky was talking about. It may be that the target was actually the office building behind it, which contains offices belonging to the Interior Ministry and to the emergency services. Perhaps it's a bit pedantic, but I think it's important to note that contrary to what was said, the other area that was hit very, very severely, Lukyanivka, where the metro station there even suffered damage and that shopping mall was completely destroyed. It's not strictly speaking true to say there are no military targets in that area. There is a missile factory nearby, and it's an area that often gets hit. But what international lawyers who are working to pin Russia down for its war crimes in Ukraine repeatedly say is that doesn't make it any less of a war crime. To irresponsibly use weapons with poor targeting to hit somewhere that's nearby, the fact that there might be a military target nearby doesn't make it any less of a war crime. I think that's very important to underscore. But what's important also to note is that although the death toll among civilians is thankfully low this time, we don't know what the death toll among military personnel is, and there may well have been military targets that were among those hit, because the Ukrainian Air Force says that 16 of the long-range missiles hit their targets, and that they're not all accounted for by the civilian targets that we can see that were hit. And what's also striking is that there was clearly a very concerted attempt to hit what the Russian television propagandists have recently kept referring to as decision-making centres, threatening to hit them right in the very centre of Kyiv, near Maidan Square. There has been light damage to a couple of government buildings and to the main post office on Maidan Square. That's thanks to the Ukrainian air defences that managed to shoot the missiles and drones that were headed for that very central area down, not without doing a little bit of damage. But I think that it's fair to say that if this wasn't the biggest attack yet on the Ukrainian capital, is certainly the closest to the city centre that they've come with any significant number of missiles and drones.